Some breaking news here that promises to have huge implications for the November election. So there's a coalition of reproductive rights organizations in Arizona called Arizona for Abortion Access who've come out and announced that they have exceeded the signature threshold to put a constitutional amendment on abortion on the state's ballot in November. The organization claims that they've gathered over 500,000 petition signatures, far more than the 383,000 necessary to get the amendment on the ballot. And they still have 3 months to go until the July 3rd deadline. And they plan to continue collecting signatures until that very day, meaning even with invalidations, this amendment is all but certain to move forward. The news comes on the immediate heels of similar news out of Florida, where the state Supreme Court ruled that a constitutional amendment to codify abortion rights can appear on the November ballot. This news came at the same time that the state Supreme Court also ruled that Ron DeSantis' draconian 6-week abortion ban can go into effect, which will all but eliminate abortion not only in Florida, but the entire southern United States. The problem for Florida Republicans is that abortion rights are extremely popular in the state, just as they are in the rest of the country. According to polling, nearly 2/3 of Floridians approve of abortion rights, including 53% of Republicans, meaning this is an issue that's going to turn out voters who oppose Republicans, and they're likely not going to be falling over themselves to reward Republicans at the ballot box at the same time they're showing up to rein them in. In fact, it's not just Florida and Arizona. Here's a map of the states where abortion measures are seeking ballot access. They include other key states like Nevada and Montana, where Democrats are defending must-win Senate seats. And you'll notice that the referendum is already approved in New York. And while you might think that that won't have a huge impact given how blue New York is, remember that there are a raft of House seats that are up for grabs in that state that unto themselves flip the House to Republicans' control. If Democrats win just 2 of the toss-up seats in New York alone, which include New York's 4th, 17th, 19th, and 22nd congressional districts, then Hakeem Jeffries will be the next Speaker of the House. So clearly, turning out more voters by putting abortion rights directly onto the ballot is going to pay dividends, electorally speaking, in a hugely consequential state. And of course, Donald Trump knows full well the disastrous position that he's landed himself in, which is why the guy who will weigh in without hesitation on literally anything and everything said this today when asked about Florida's new 6-week abortion ban.
Mr. President, do you support the 6-week abortion ban of the Florida Supreme Court?
We'll be making a statement next week on abortion.
And look, he can punt to next week all he wants. God knows we're still waiting on that healthcare plan that he promised would come in 2 weeks. But the fact is that we already know exactly where he stands on the issue of abortion and exactly who's responsible for it being banned.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade. A lot of things were done with Roe by killing it. Supreme Court justices and the Supreme Court ruled to end the moral and constitutional atrocity known as Roe v. Wade. Very important. We did the Roe v. Wade thing, which they've been trying to get it done. If it weren't for me with Roe v. Wade, you wouldn't even be talking about this. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing.
I'm the one that got rid of Roe v. Wade.
And what I did by killing Roe v. Wade, which everyone said was impossible. For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
This Donald Trump answer on abortion, like, that dog ain't gonna hunt, okay? He is the person who put 3 justices on the Supreme Court who overturned Roe. He has bragged about it numerous times. You see, and we saw in September when he was fumbling around, and he continues to kind of fumble around. He obviously understands the political implications, but there is no say
we need to win elections.
Yes,
right.
There is no world where he is going to be able to weasel out his record on this. So let's just say that.
And let's be clear, it won't stop at abortion. Here's AOC laying out exactly what's at stake in November.
I want to be very clear that this was intentional and that this is exactly what Republicans have been going for. We've seen it. You have the Heritage Foundation, you have lots of folks who are on record saying, not only do they want to go after abortion? Not only do they want to go after reproductive freedom, they're going after IVF, they're going after contraception. We have a mifepristone ruling that is coming down from the Supreme Court, and Clarence Thomas enriching himself from the same folks who are saying that they are trying to control women's bodies quite explicitly. And going beyond that, they also want to control what they call recreational sex.
Yes.
Recreational sex. This is so clearly a patriarchal theocracy that has embodied itself in the DNA of an entire political party in the United States of America. And as women and as any non-binary and queer person in this country, they must be defeated. There should never be room for this kind of control by force over another person's body in this country. And they can walk it back as much as they want. They have done this. Who put those judges there? Not Democrats, not independents. Republicans put those judges in there. Republicans are taking women's bodies by force, and we cannot let them do it. It has to come to an end.
Now, the Biden campaign, for its part, wasted no time in hitting Trump on this issue.
Because for 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
In 2016, Donald Trump ran to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, in 2024, he's running to pass a national ban on a woman's right to choose. I'm running to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again, so women have a federal guarantee to the right to choose. Donald Trump doesn't trust women. I do. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Biden's re-election campaign manager released a statement saying, quote, "Make no mistake, Florida is not an easy state to win, but it is a winnable one for President Biden, especially given Trump's weak, cash-strapped campaign and serious vulnerabilities within his coalition. This new extreme abortion ban, one that Donald Trump personally paved the way for, will now amount to a ban for the entire Southeast. Women in need of reproductive care throughout the region now face a choice between putting their lives at risk or traveling hundreds or thousands of miles to get care." And of course, the Biden campaign has the added benefit of actually being able to get that message out, considering they have a major fundraising advantage over Trump, with about $155 million cash on hand compared to Trump's $40 million cash on hand. Just last week, Biden pulled in $25 million in a single day during an event with Presidents Obama and Clinton in New York, which itself was more than Trump raised in December and January combined. And that cash disparity is only expected to get worse for Trump, considering his campaign is being pilfered to cover his legal expenses. And with his first criminal trial beginning on April 15th, those bills are going to keep piling up. The fact is that Republicans wanted to display just how far right they could go to appeal to a shrinking faction of extremists within their base. But what they didn't take into account was that they weren't being well served within their hermetically sealed media bubbles. Because outside of those hermetically sealed media bubbles, Americans could not be more diametrically opposed to what they're selling. They've let Republicans know in states across the country, from Kansas to Ohio to California to Vermont, and they're about to find out in a whole lot more states this November. And that alone may be responsible for Republicans watching their party become the powerless shell that it absolutely deserves to be. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to this channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.